So clearly, networking and relationships are so important to building all this stuff and marketing. And you, $500,000, and you have a massive network.
But I had zero, dude. You know what I mean? I mean, seriously, I didn't start my Twitter. There was 500,000. So that's important to understand.
As you grow it, you're getting this big network built up. How will you manage it? Like, all
poorly. Seriously, I miss calls. Tons of bad things happen. But I care and people know it, so they're just like, oh, you know. I manage it by scratching my itch. In 06, when I was in London, early 07, when everybody was like, this Twitter thing, started to blow up a little bit. And I was like, who the fuck gives a shit if you're taking a shit or eating a banana, right? And I was like, no, man, this could be really, I mean, it's always scratching my itch. I don't look at anything in the world outside of my entrepreneurial glasses. Everything I look at is, how can I do something, right? That's just how I roll. That's my DNA. So I manage things if they feel like it tastes like something's happening. If I want to scratch that itch. You want to do this thing? Yeah. You want to do this here? No. I mean, it's just really like, I just try to position myself to be happy, first of all. Cut out the negativity. Don't waste my time on hating. By the way, if you're leaving tweets and blog posts and you're drinking Haterade, you're a clown. Fucking clown. It's the biggest waste of time of all time. Talk about good shit. Go care about your community. Answer fucking emails. That other shit's horseshit. So I scratch my own itch. I manage it based on, there's 800 billion balls in the air, and some are going to fall, but I'm just trying to make the best judgment that works for me. And sometimes that's not the thing on paper, because television has been in front of me hardcore, and there's something in me that's saying no, and it looks like it should be yes. Yes.
So I totally buy into everything you're saying. It's all positive. It's all go out there and get what you want. But I'm wondering, a lot of different panels here, people have had different things that have stood in their way, whether it was, I don't have access to the people that I want to write about and I want to be legit, but I can't. Or I'm a woman and people are going to automatically...
Yeah, the woman thing, listen, a lot of the question is, there's a lot of obstacles in life. No access, I'm a woman. Go ahead.
Okay, so my question for you is, we all have our different things that we're coming up against, and all you're giving us is, if you know what you want and you go after it, you're going to get there, which I believe in the end will turn out. But what is your wall? What are you coming up against that's stopping you?
There's a ton of, my wall is that there's a ton of people when they first meet me think I'm a douchebag. Because I'm over the top and there's a lot going on. And I'm like so weak at that. I want everybody like me. I like everybody. That kills me. When I see on Twitter, Gary Vee's full of shit, I'm like, promo. I'm like, okay, focus. It's like fucking the A-team. We get in there and fucking take care of shit. There's a lot of things. I mean, I love my family and I struggle with balancing that because I want to work 800 hours a day. If you really want to know if you're winning it, if you're pissed that you're falling asleep, your shit is on point. That's how I feel. I start throwing like, fuck you, guys.
Those are personal. I'm hard on myself if people don't like me, and I'm hard on myself if I don't see my family. What are you coming up against in the industry? That's what I'm saying.
I'm being serious.
It's as easy
the real
as
shit is
saying
my mom and dad being healthy. I worry every day they're going to die. That freaks the shit out of me. That cripples me. The industry, nobody can hold me. That's how I feel. Mike Spectator was much bigger than me. Robert Parker was much bigger than me. Everybody in the wine industry, don't forget, I already had street cred. I built a $60 million company. So I was like the whiz kid. I got like the industry awards that nobody knew about. And I was like this kid. And then they're like, this guy fucking lost his mind. I had He-Man figures on my table. Like, let's fuck it. I'm comparing wine to like deer getting hit by a car. And you cut the deer with this knife. And the cherries, that's the way this tastes. And they just thought I completely lost my shit. But what I realized was that wine was mispositioned. Everybody thinks wine is a bunch of douchebags or it's way too serious, I don't know shit. You don't know shit, drink it. Like it good if you don't. Fuck it. So the obstacles are in your mind, I think. But there's a lot of obstacles. There's better competitors. But this whole access thing is ridiculous. Social commentating is a major business. I mean, Perez Hilton draws dicks on people's faces and monetizes the shit out of it. So don't be scared. Yes, sir.
You start off with
Yep.
And so these things, a lot of us are doing it for free right now.
Yep.
And you build it up now. So you mentioned you got to the point where it's off $35.
Yep.
How do you gain leverage later?
You gain voice.
How do you turn the table from doing this for free to get
Patience. I did wine library TV for 18 months before anybody gave a shit. And my business, I ran a business that I built for 7 years that grew minimum 20% against because I was the guy selling all the wine and making shit happen. And everybody in my company's like, fuck. And you want to talk about taking care of your employees? They were scared. I mean, they knew what was going on. All of a sudden, an email went out, and we sold 17 cases instead of 150 because I would write some shit in there that made it happen. I got that, right? So, and now I'm sitting in front of a computer leaving comments on MrZindanilsPants.com arguing about Nebbiolo and Pinot fucking Grigio. So everybody's like, holy shit, we're dead. But I knew where I was going. It was very obvious to me that platforms were being redefined, that the world was changing, that I could reach the consumer directly and didn't have to pay for it, or get lucky and have a PR win. The fact that I can have the same impact, the fact that quickly I'd rather have been on the front page of Dig than on ABC radio, all these things that I started feeling made me realize shit was changing. And so I had patience, 18 months, sales down, all this stuff. And then, you know, it started kind of clicking. A couple of episodes were right. You know, New York Magazine article. Joel Stein from Time Magazine is an amazing writer. Wrote an amazing piece on me and really blew it up and said I was the greatest. It was awesome. And then, you know, and then Conan invited me to be on the show. And that's the first time on television. I walk out, 4 million YouTube videos later because we ate dirt and grass and it was fucking funny. And you start, you know, you start going. It's going to take a moment, but nothing is luck. I didn't get lucky. I work 18 hours a day every day. Every day. So it's hard work. There's no substitution for that. But where do you spend your time? I think a lot of people, I mean, there's people who worry over their tweets. They sit there and legitimately spend time to think about what they're tweeting in like 5 minutes. It's crazy. Just speak from the heart, do your shit, spend time in the community. Whatever you write about, what do you write about? Cricket? See, that's awesome. Cricket. Because that's so like, how many cricket hardcore bloggers are there? I know. That to me is like awesome. I always say, you want to go against Wine Library TV, don't do a general wine show because I will beat your fucking face in. But if you want to do the Pinot Grigio hour, you're going to build some shit. So, and San Margarita is going to be your sponsor for $60,000 a year, and you're making 47 on some shit you hate every day. I mean, you know, it's funny, when you start playing into the advertising budgets and what people consider not a lot of money, sponsors, they'll pay you and this and that, it doesn't take a lot to get to the average American income. And that's what I'm writing this book about. High-level stuff, and then the details of how I did it, how I know it can be done. And if you're writing well enough about cricket, let me ask you a question. How much time are you spending in every other cricket blog, cricket forum, and search.twitter for anybody referencing any players or the word cricket? Don't lie. Tell me right now how much time every day. Go. Don't bullshit. 5 minutes every other day. That means we vomit directly in the mouth. But I get it. I get it so hardcore. Just like if you watched me write a sentence, you would vomit in your mouth. Everybody has skills. The fact of the matter is, whatever you're putting out, you need to spend 15 hours a day in those communities. I'm not kidding. That would be my ideal time. So if you find a business person that can do that, but it has to be authentic. It has to be you, because the business person doesn't know dick about cricket, right? So you've got to make that commitment. So it is. Or you have to do it. I mean, you put it out, it's what you get. You don't link out to other people, you don't get it. You know, it's just, this shit is fair. And that's what I love about this space. It's fair. You care about people. Somebody said to me, Gary, talk about the new world and fuck TV, fuck books, fuck, you know, why'd you sign a 10-book deal? I'm like, because people read that shit, right? But the funny part of that interview was, you put out so much content for free, all of it. Why would anybody buy a book? And I said, thank you, business. Because when you really care, when you don't just write, but when somebody emails you and you answer 74 times a day, what wine goes with chicken? People know you did it. The truth is there. They know you answered that and that you care. And after you give a talk at South by Southwest like I did this year, and I stood in the corner for 7 hours taking pictures, people know that. So who cares more? Who puts out the best shit? Who wants it more? It's who's going to win? The way it's supposed to be.